Turn this on. So thank you for your patience on Thursday. That was not fun. I forgot to text Anna, which I felt really bad about. I told you guys in the announcement, my daughter's school had a violent threat made against it. And they're like, we have police presence, but parents can make their own decisions. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna play Russian roulette with my daughter, thanks. So I said, we're gonna stay home. We're gonna stay home. So we Zoomed on Thursday and I had 2 people join the Zoom. So instead of teaching the lesson, I was like, we're just gonna focus on working on their thesis statement. So that's what we did. So I didn't even record the session. I posted a little video to let you guys know that I just worked with the 2 of them. I helped them with their research and that's what we did. Sorry, I'm being blinded by that. Woo! There, the projector light. Oh, sorry, that's okay. So yeah, you didn't miss anything on Thursday because I had already workshopped with both of you on your thesis statements. And so Jamario and Molly and I worked on theirs on Thursday. So everybody turned in their thesis statements because we all worked together. So I was really happy about that. So today we're going to do, I postponed that lecture until next week, I think, the one that we were gonna do last Thursday, focusing on grammar. It's the last of the grammar stuff, so we will get to it before the end of the quarter. So if you're like, grammar is hard, we'll finish that up. We are nearing the end, which is mind-boggling. We only have a few more weeks left, and then so our last official day of class is June 15th. So that's the Thursday. Yeah, June 15th is the last day. And the last day, I actually already invited the writing tutor from Transitional Studies to come in and help with your final drafts, editing and all that stuff. So I'll be here, she'll be here, and that's what we'll be working on. It's just
What day is that?
June 15th. It's a Thursday. Can you make it? Yeah, I know.
Since I'm moving out and I don't have a ride,
Okay.
soon, I'll be on Zoom now.
Okay, and I can help on Zoom. Okay, so Jamario, I can help you on Zoom. So we'll make it work. So everybody feels comfortable, confident that they feel supported. So we had a 3-day weekend. What did you guys do? McKinnon, what did you guys go to your camp?
Yeah, I went up there and did some work, and apparently, the original like little house is very old. We're gonna need to be, doing it for a while, but this time we found mice, so. Yeah.
It's not fun.
It's gonna be fun.
So you're renovating this summer?
Maybe this summer or later in the winter, but,
Okay. Nice. And it's near Arlington?
yeah, it's just north of Arlington.
North of Arlington. Okay, cool. Nice. What did you do for your holiday weekend?
Nothing eventful,
Just hung out?
I like walk, I had a nice long walk and cleaned my room. And
Good. We had nice weather, so that was nice. Good. Anna, do you want to share? What did you do?
I worked every day except Monday, and then I went to a picnic with my cousins.
Nice, good. And Darian?
I moved everything out of my room.
You moved?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big job. I've started the packing process. If anybody ever has boxes, I will take your boxes. Amazon boxes, any of your boxes. I started taking boxes out of the recycling here on campus. And I was carrying it around and I explained myself to one of the instructors and he goes, you know what? It didn't even think it was weird that you were rummaging through the recycling. And I was like, I don't know how I should take that. She's like, it's just you.
I got a huge pad of paper that somebody put in the recycling, it's like, it's never been used, like.
I mean,
I
now
was like,
we're on campus. There's
I
boxes
feel
all the
weird,
time.
but I'm taking this.
I my friend Laura, who's a condo I'm moving into, she used to work here and she would dumpster dive and get pallets and like wood and she built like all of these shelves in her apartment. And like, and she's like, I got so much free wood from the campus. I was like, I'm gonna just throw things away. We're gonna take it. So, yeah, so maybe that's why they were just like, you're just that person that's gonna take trash, just recycling. Anyway, so my mom was gonna come this weekend, but I decided to go to her house because she kept, you know how like, not in a mean way, but like in a very passive way, just kept talking about how much work the yard was and how much she feels overwhelmed. And I was like, okay, I'm picking up on this indirect way of saying, please come in and fix this. So I told you guys ago that my dad passed last winter. So this is the very first spring. My parents have lived there for 30 years on 15 acres of woods. And dad took care of the outside and mom took care of the inside. And now mom has to take care of everything and she's overwhelmed. And she doesn't know what to do and how, how things work. My brother-in-law had to show her how to use the lawnmower. I tried to change the battery in the riding lawnmower and I'm so strong that I broke off a piece of metal. And I said, okay, I know that this was really inconvenient, but like, can we just talk about how strong I am that I broke metal? Like, wow. That's pretty BA. I was like, I had no idea it in me. So my brother-in-law gets to fix that on Wednesday. And then I tried to get the old weed eater from like, I'm pretty sure they had it in the 80s, to work. And I followed the directions on the manual that I found online and it did not work. And I was like, okay, well, I give up. So dad had this old, like, it's called the temper, kind of, but like not scary looking. He had that too. I didn't use that. It's called a temper tool, which I thought was really funny. And it's just like a serrated blade that like, that kind of like this, but like not the scary looking like horror movie kind.
Yeah.
Just like, and so I was like, this will work. So I'm just slashing the blackberry bushes and the singing nettle, and we were on a mission. And then there was a little chainsaw, there's lots of chainsaws. I won't use the big ones. The little one, the battery operated. So I was cutting down like all of these weeds and I did her driveway and behind the house and this corner so that she can see the neighbors coming down the log road so they don't hit her. And like, just did all of this stuff for 3 days. And now I'm sore in places I didn't know I could be sore in. And I was like, wow, okay, that's what, I was like, Mom, now I want one of these. Cause like,
It's turning her out.
I know, that's what I said. I was working, I said I was picturing my ex-husband's head. Just kidding.
And like,
And-
who needs the gym?
And that's what I said. And I ended up getting blisters and I was like, I'm working really hard. I have blisters. So it was really funny. So she's like, I'm so glad you came. And plus it's just her and the dog and cat. So it was just nice to have company. So, yeah, that was fun. It was a very chill weekend at my childhood home, taking care of weeds and, remembering, I remember growing up and playing in those woods and, it's been logged all the way around. So the only forest left is what my parents own. Yeah.
I
So,
hope you never let that happen with that.
well, that would be ideal, but unfortunately mom can't take care of it. And she's so far away from us that we're gonna have to sell the property.
Oh my God.
It'd be really nice to sell it to somebody who doesn't wanna log it, but that's kind of out of our hands when we sell it. So, yeah, that'll be really hard. None of us are looking forward to that. We're all kind of like in the process of like saying goodbye to the property. I'm trying to get her to move up here. Now she wants to drive around. She won't live in Edmonds or anywhere around here because of the city. I'm like, "Oh, we have trees and the sound and mountains, not that bad." So she wants me to show her Snohomish, Lake Stevens, Granite Falls area. And I'm like, okay, fine, only 40 minutes away. That's better than 2.5 hours through, Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, JBLM traffic that I'm very familiar with. And she just kept saying, thank you for not making me do that drive this week. I did it for you. All right, anyway, so yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about our weekends. I'm glad you guys got to rest. It was nice to have Monday off, although to me, it feels like Monday, so I'm mentally trying to remember that it's not. So like I said, we're wrapping up. We are in week 9, module 9, of 11 weeks. So Yeah, we're almost done. You have, let's see, you don't have a lot of assignments this, oh, I forgot, I didn't put the screen down, that's funny. You don't have a lot of assignments this week. Share for a second. Okay. So here is module 9. You do have a persuasive essay to look at and answer some questions. It's just to give you an example of what one looks like. And then the discussion this week is the wealth gap. How much the rich are getting versus how much taxes they're paying. And then the outline is the assignment for the persuasive essay. And on Thursday, I want to work on the outline after, we'll give at least an hour of class. We'll be working on the outline. So we can do it online. Okay.
This Thursday I'll be.
Oh, okay, perfect, perfect. All right, so, yeah, so even if you're online, I will help you with your outline, get your research squared away and get you feeling prepared to write your essay. I did go back and comment on your thesis statements. For some of you, I was really, like, I kept thinking about your topics, and so I started dropping links into your thesis statement, like, hey, I read this about your topic, so you can check that out, and I'm sure I'll do for other topics. Jamario, I thought about yours like for a really long time. He and I talked about the is housing a human right, which was your reading last week, and talked about that quite a bit, and found how Finland is housing their residents, and they've almost completely eradicated homelessness in their country for that reason. So it was a really interesting conversation, and I ended up telling my mom all about it tomorrow. All right. So let's talk about today's conversations. Talking about plagiarism, not how to do it, how to avoid it. Okay, so the reason I want to talk about this is that it's a big deal, and some people don't realize how big of a deal it is. I feel like we do talk about it enough in American education systems that, like, you guys are at least aware of what plagiarism is, and maybe not all of the ways you could get caught for plagiarizing, because sometimes people are surprised, which is what I want to talk about. But oftentimes when I'm teaching international students, plagiarism is not, depending on where you live in the world, plagiarism may not matter. For example, when I taught in Ukraine is a former Soviet Union country and a former communist country. And in communism, it's about sharing resources.
It's not yours, it's ours.
It's ours, yes. So sharing the test answers was okay because we were helping each other. Yeah. It's a very different, I wish that I had been an older teacher when I was teaching there, not like brand new, because like to me, it was just like so shocking and horrifying. But now I'd be like, an interesting spin you're putting on that. All right. And I probably would have done things differently, but you know, I was still a very young teacher at the time. So I was like, oh my God, you guys, you can't do that. Even though we only had like those tiny little Nokia phones, you guys remember, I know you're like, what are you talking about? Nokia was a company. I don't know if it is anymore. It is. And so anyway, they were like these, we didn't have smartphones yet. Smartphones had just kind of came to the US. Like we were still like iPhone 1. Okay, no, I'm dating myself here. But we didn't have any smartphones in second and third world countries. But we did have these tiny Nokias where you had to hit like one button like 5 times to get to the letter that you needed. And I became really good at texting, by the way, because talking on the phone costs more money than it did texting in most countries. And so I remember I had a student leave the class, go to the bathroom, and then not like 2 minutes later, everybody's phones chimed, everyone. And I was like, you all, I was like, come on. they were very, very good at cheating. Like, they gave me a run for my money. Like, I think the one was the girl who wrote all the test answers on her legs, and she was wearing sheer nylons and then had a short skirt on. And so I'm not in the process of like looking at my student's thighs. So that was like, yeah, I wasn't gonna do that. So she was sitting there, but she kept hiking up her skirt. It was getting shorter and shorter. And I'm like, oh my God, you know? And as I'm walking around, I realized why. And I was like, girl. So yeah, it was very, very interesting ways to, and uncomfortable ways in that one, to get away with sharing the answers with her. So, yeah, so, but the reason I bring that up is because when I teach this, sometimes international students are like, what? You can get in trouble for that? So that's why we have these conversations, just so that everyone's aware. Okay, let's talk about it. So what is plagiarism? What would be the definition? Copy and paste.
Using others' work without, citing it or just.
Yeah, you're both right, yeah. So it's taking someone else's work and pretending it's yours, right? That's the definition. It can be both written and verbal. And so of course, synonyms, copying, piracy. I never really feel that, like now that like the copyright for movies, like if you pirate this, it's a federal crime, blah, blah, blah. Noted. Okay, an accusation of plagiarism is when someone is suspected of plagiarizing in either written or verbal form. Okay, so what's considered plagiarism? I have just updated it this year. There are now 13 examples of plagiarism. There used to be 12, but technology is giving you a new one. So, so I needed to include that. Okay, the first one, like you said, copying material word for word, no quotation marks, not giving the source, just pretending I wrote this. Aren't I a genius? Right? Oftentimes this happens by mistake, right? Maybe you forgot the quotation marks, you forgot the source, like to give credit to the source. So this one, if I saw this, I'd be like, hey, this is plagiarized, go back and fix it. That would be an example. Here is the correct way to give credit to somebody if you're using a direct quote. Make sure that you have the quotation marks around the words, and then of course, you give credit at the very end. And then, oops, oh, I'm pushing the wrong button, sorry. And then this is incorrect. What's wrong with the second one?
No citation.
No citation and no quote marks. Right, so it makes it sound like I wrote this, when actually John Lennon did, so. Okay. Using the words but changing the word order of a sentence, copied from a source. So maybe I just like, oh, I'll just move the sentence around, and now it's mine. It's still their idea, right? If it's their idea, you need to give them credit. Copying a sentence from another source, but just changing some of the words with synonyms. The sentence structure is still the same. You just change some of the wording, and regardless, it's still their idea. So you still have to give them credit. So you still have to mention who said. Was it John Lennon? Give John Lennon credit. Stating information without a source that is not common knowledge. Even though you might know it, right? You might be an expert on this topic and you're talking about it, but you didn't give credit, then you need to explain why you are an expert in this field, right? So my biggest example is I had a student who was a biotech engineer, and he would write papers on, and to him it was common knowledge talking about all of this information. But for me, who has never studied biotech engineering. I was like, dude, what, where did this information come from? He's like, oh, I know this because it is in my field. And I'm like, explain that. How, and you must have learned it from someone, right? There has to be a source to back this up. And so even though it was common knowledge in some of his field, it wasn't in mine. So remember who your audience is, right? Remember, what do they know? What do they not know? So when we said common knowledge, all humans need oxygen to survive. That's common knowledge. You don't need to cite that. But if you start talking about how trees recycle carbon dioxide and turn it into oxygen, well, I wish that was common knowledge for all humans. Maybe it's not. So maybe you need to you should probably give a nod to which scientists discovered that, right? I was thinking about how gravity, how we all know that what goes up must come down. And I was like, the fact that we have to cite Newton, like Newton's law goes up and comes down. I had mentioned that Mira was throwing a ball up and she's like, look, it's coming down. I'm like, good job, you have discovered gravity. Newton would be proud. And I was just thinking, so this is my teacher brain, like at the playground thinking about that. Like, we think that'd be common knowledge, but I think we still have to give Isaac Newton credit for that. Okay. Summarizing information without giving the source. Even though you wrote it in your own words, you still have to give them credit. So please don't forget to give the source credit. Same thing with paraphrasing. If you're paraphrasing, what are you doing when you paraphrase?
Shortening
Paraphrasing, so summarizing, you're really shortening it, right? Paraphrasing, you're kind of like, it's almost the same length, but it's different. It's your words, right? You're putting it in words that you understand. And we'll talk more about summarizing, paraphrasing, quoting next week. But when you are paraphrasing, summarizing, quoting, you always give the source credit because it came from somewhere. It was someone else's idea. If it's not your idea, give them credit.
But we don't do that in the assignments, in like the history, for example.
Right. In that case, because yours isn't focusing on English, yours is focusing on just Washington State history. But if you were doing an English contextualized class, then you would be giving credit. Yeah. So, good to know, right? Oh, providing sources that do not exist. I've had that happen many times. Oh, I'll just make this up. But sometimes, especially when you make it obviously dirty, I'm gonna be like, that's not their name, seriously, it's not their name, you made that up and you thought it was cool. Okay, Google Translate, this applies to if you find the source in a different language, and then you use Google Translate, and then you just copy and paste that. You still have to give credit to the source and check your grammar because it will be wrong. Turning in a paper for one class that was written by the same student for a different class. This one usually shocks people. This is called self-plagiarism, okay? And yeah, you can do that. See, this is always the one that I'm like, my students are like, wait, what? I can't do that. So I think probably when I was a student, it was really easy to do because we didn't have technology as much as we do now. Now we do. So like, let's say McKinnon turns in an essay and we submit everything online now. Everything's on Canvas. So then, let's say you're like, oh, hey, I wrote a persuasive essay in English 90. I'm going to turn it in for English 101. But because you turned it on online, it automatically will be flagged in the system. Hey, this is a word for word, the exact same essay that this student wrote. And then, even though you were the student, okay? So it's hard to do that now, so don't do that. Keep in mind that self-plagiarism is still considered plagiarism. I mean, honestly, why? Why would we not want you to do that?
You're not learning.
Yeah, you're not learning. You're not, that's not what we don't want you to not learn. I mean, this one's pretty obvious, turning in a paper that was written by someone else. I never knew that. Right. good example, my big sister, who she and I were in college about the same time. Well, I think she was like a year or two, she graduated a little bit ahead of me. And she took a geology class and she said, oh, you should so take it, it's so cool. My sister's a scientist, God bless her. I love science too, but not about rocks. I've learned that I don't care about rocks. I mean, I can talk about it to a small extent, but not to the not to the degree that we needed to do this essay. So, I was like, just give me your paper. She was like, no, that's cheating. But she then ended up wishing she had, because she had to like come and like help me with the experiment as we tested rocks. And so she's like, she still talks about that. Purchasing a paper instead of writing one. Yeah, don't buy your paper online. Same thing. You turn it in and it immediately gets flagged as like, hey, this is available on this website for purchase. So, yeah. Stealing somebody's verbal words without giving them credit. This happens a lot in the business world, if you think about it. Like, let's say that you are a grunt employee, right? And you have this really great idea and you tell your supervisor and your supervisor's like, oh, take that under advisement. And then they go to upper management and pretend it's their idea and then they get promoted and you're like, what the hell? Yeah, that happens a lot in the business world, right? So this is a good example of stealing somebody's verbal words without giving them credit, okay? And then finally, number 13, the first time I get to talk about this, AI, ChatGPT. Yeah. We have a guy at our church that thinks ChatGPT is just the coolest thing ever. And will like send like all of his, he sent me his conversation chat with ChatGPT. I was like, that was interesting to read. I've never played with it yet. I want to. I think that with technology, there's always the good and the bad, right? I think that this is like a really cool way to maybe help with cover letters, right, for a job, maybe help writing job ads for employers. I think there's cool ways you could probably use ChatGPT. Getting them to write your essay is not one of them, especially since when I have read what ChatGPT writes, the grammar is not always correct. The words that they use are not always the meaning you want them to have. And it also is not going to sound like you, right? After a while, your instructor gets to know your voice, right? Your voice is how you write. And if you like write something that doesn't sound like you, then I would be like, red flags, right? I'd be like, So keep that in mind. And the other thing that I didn't mention in this because it doesn't pertain to us, but now artificial intelligence is producing art. And we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need AI to make art for us. We need time. We need AI to clean for us so that we have time to make art ourselves. I don't need, yeah, I need my Roomba to not get stuck. Thank you. I need somebody to mop for me and dust for me and do the dishes for me. And so if they want to make from the Jetsons, Rosie from the Jetsons, if they want to make a Rosie from the Jetsons to clean up things so that I have time for my art, great. But I don't need one to produce art for me. So, yeah. So these are just all ways that you may have known some of them and some of them may be brand new to you. Any of these were new to you? Any of these surprised you? Of these 13? The self-plagiarism, had you heard of that before? Yeah? Yeah, okay. All right, consequences of plagiarism. So this is the word for word, because I copied it, but here's the source. Student dishonesty in academics, this is from the student guide handbook that we have online. And to be quite honest, I don't know if this link works anymore, because this was before the ransomware. So I would put money that it doesn't. So I will have to go find a new one. But this is an explanation of what dishonesty in academics looks like. All colleges have an academic dishonesty policy, which means it explains what that is and then what consequences happen if you break it, okay? If you look here, it really can go, I mean, this is the scary one, dismissal from an academic program, right? Yeah. I would say every university and college in America has the same policy, maybe not the same wording or system of how they go about doing it, but the idea is the same, okay? So here we have, like, whatever. It may include withholding credit for the class or lowering of a grade or failure of the class. And then worst case, you get kicked out of the program or the college altogether, okay? And the other thing that people maybe don't know is that you also get blacklisted. If you get kicked out of a school for plagiarism, then you, it's very hard for you to transfer to a different college and university because it's always on your record. It's on your transcripts, that follows you, so. All right, our syllabus, basically, so and a lot of English teachers know this to be true, and so I think a lot of us are the same, but maybe not everybody. 99% of the time, if I have a student who there's an accusation of plagiarism, it was by accident. It was because the student forgot to include the source, or they forgot quotation marks. They forgot, maybe they put the in-text citation, but they forgot to put them on the works cited. Or the in-text citation and the works cited don't match. All of that's considered plagiarism, okay? I don't be like, oh my God, go straight to the vice president, like, oh my God, no. My first act would be to flag that. If I find plagiarism, usually what I'll do is I'll say, this is plagiarized, and I'll stop reading. And I will message you. He's like, hey, John Smith. I read your essay. I found that it's plagiarized. I want you to go back in, please edit your essay and resubmit it. And I usually give students 24 hours before I look at it again, okay? And I'll tell you, how much time you have to look at it. I mean, if it's a Friday, I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna look at it on Saturday. I'm not. You know, you have the weekend, get to me by Monday morning, and then I'll regrade it, okay? And we'll just pretend it never happened. I mean, because in my opinion, that's a learning opportunity for you to learn about what happened and how you can avoid that in the future. That's the first step. If it happens again, and then it's become a pattern, and that's when I'd be like, okay, we might need to have a conversation. Okay. First, you would go to the dean, and blah, blah, blah. The dean would be like, did you need to do this? But then there's also a council. Did you know that there's an academic dishonesty council? It is, right? It's a council made up of students and faculty and administrators who will read the essay and determine if the student did it intentionally. They'll read the instructor's report, and they'll talk to the student, and then they'll make the decision whether or not it was the student should be given another chance, or if the student should be expelled from the campus. So yeah, all colleges and campuses, all college campuses on and universities in the US have that. Okay, I've only one time, out of all the years I've been teaching, one time have I ever had a student get expelled for plagiarism. And it wasn't just because of my class, because he kept doing it multiple semesters in my class and other people's, and we all talk, right? Especially when your teachers have their offices in the exact same spot. Like we were in a converted classroom that had cubicles. And so there was like 12 of us in one room, and like unlucky for him, all of his instructors were in one room. And so we were just like, we'd be reading and like you hear, from somebody's computer, and like, why? And we're like, so-and-so, like, this is plagiarism. I've already talked to him about this. Like, oh my God, really? He did that in my class too. Really? And then we started talking, you know what I mean? Like, then it kind of goes from there. And that student got kicked out. And unfortunately, they were an international student and they had 24 hours to leave the country. Yeah. So not only did they get kicked out of the college, the campus, but they got kicked out of the country as well. Because their student visa then immediately expires. So, yeah, it was a big deal. It was really sad. I was not happy with that. There's ways to prevent plagiarism. Here we have the library link. It's really nice that the librarians have created, I did check this one already, yep. The librarians have created a website on how to, about plagiarism, how to avoid it. They are wonderful references. If you ever need help with your MLA, they are here to help you. Yeah, so here's the college's policy on plagiarism, the dishonesty policy, how to avoid it. Look, they have this really great chart for you. There's a video and how to give your sources credit, resources to avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism resources, I know it's meant to like avoid plagiarism, but when you read that, you think, here's resources to help you plagiarize. That's not what it means. But I just want to let you know that even the library has information on how to avoid plagiarism, and they are here to help you. Okay, so just some questions for all of you. Why is plagiarism inappropriate? Why do we make such a big deal about it?
It's not okay,
Why is it not okay?
because it's dishonest.
It is. It's other people's work, sure, it's stealing other people's work. Which, you know, I'm assuming they did a lot of work to discover that what goes up must come down. What was Isaac Newton doing? Maybe he was stoned. An apple fell on my head. I must tell everyone. Okay. Why might a student plagiarize?
So they don't have to do the work,
Okay,
it's quick.
it's fast, right? Oftentimes, I think maybe procrastination, putting it off, and oh crap, it's due, I gotta do something. That's definitely, or like, I've been working and haven't had time to do it, but it's due, so I just gotta throw something together. Those are all reasons why a student might plagiarize. Any other reasons?
They have like a learning disability and it takes them too long to do all the assignments. So they might be like, okay, I'm just gonna do this for this one, and like they justify it.
Yeah, it might be a learning disability, absolutely.
Like this topic is too hard for me.
Mhm. Yeah. In that case, what would you recommend to that student?
Get help.
Me too. If you're in a situation where you feel overwhelmed, this is really hard, I don't understand the topic, go get help. Talk to me, talk to your instructor, talk to the tutors, right? You have a lot of resources on campus. Talk to the librarians. Oh my gosh, they would be overjoyed if a student said, I need help with my essay. They're like, yes, somebody wants to talk to me. The librarians need more love. So yeah, absolutely. Remember that you have all of these people on campus that are available to you. How can plagiarism be avoided?
Citing your work.
Citing your work. Remember, Jamario and Molly, feel free to chime in. Citing your work, absolutely. Giving your source credit. What else?
Asking for help.
Asking for help. When you're not sure. Sure. What if you're not sure if something should be cited? You're like, is this common knowledge? Should I cite this?
Yes.
Yeah, if you don't know, if you're asked to just cite it to be cautious. If you're like, man, there's so many citations in this paragraph, that's okay. You're citing your sources, that's okay. All right. Paraphrasing, citing your sources, using MLA, all of these are ways to avoid plagiarism. Okay. All right, now let's play a game. It's not the who, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I know. All right. Oh, I was gonna staple those and I forgot, but at least I printed them. I printed them last night when we got home. Looks like it printed weird, but that's okay. Don't worry, this will all make sense when I explain what I'm doing. Those of you online, if you go to module 9, the weekly lectures and schedule, on Tuesday, you will see the Avoid Plagiarism handout. That is what I'm handing out right now. And I'm just gonna give you one anyway. Thank you. This used to be a PDF and I converted it to a doc and I can see that the formatting is a little wonky, but that's okay. Love your nails, pretty. Okay. So as you can see, I did not create all of, well, I did create the PowerPoint, but I gave credit to where this came from. All the way back to 1990. Okay, so plagiarism and how to avoid it. So we talked about what constitutes as plagiarism. Now we're going to talk about how to avoid it. Okay, so first thing is detecting plagiarism. Plagiarism, don't worry, you won't go to jail like this guy. Plagiarism is the act of using another person's ideas or expressions in your writing without acknowledging the source. Okay, talked about that. You won't be with the Grand Theft Auto people in jail. Okay, plagiarism comes in many forms. Okay, we've talked about that already. And oftentimes it's when you use another person's work and you forgot to give them credit. That's and like I said, and you forgot. I genuinely believe that students are not like I'm gonna plagiarize and see if she catches it. You know, I don't think that you guys are out there doing that. I honestly think that it's like a oops moment, okay? And that's why I always come back to you and be like, hey, fix that, resubmit it, we'll just move on from that. To avoid plagiarism, remember that anytime someone else's words or thoughts are used, documentation should be used to acknowledge the source. Okay. All right, so here's the game. We are going to determine if the reading, the passage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to read this passage. We're going to read the original passage together on page 1. And then we're going to determine if what you see on the screen is going to be the student versions. And you're going to determine, are the student versions plagiarized, not plagiarized, but still incorrect, okay? And we'll work as a team, okay? We'll work as a class to do this together. Jamario and Molly, feel free to use the chat to talk to each other. I'm not gonna put you in a breakout group because I still want you to be able to see this, so. Keep in mind, that it is possible to not plagiarize, but maybe it was still wrong. And if we come across those, we'll talk about it, okay? And you do need to explain why. If you say it's plagiarized, tell me why. If it's not plagiarized, tell me why, okay? So let's be prepared to explain. This is funny. Okay. Oh, wait, oops. All right, let's look at the passage. And I'm gonna try and. Okay, so this is the passage. All right. Okay, here's the original passage that you all have in front of you anyway, but I just wanted to show it. Is there anybody who would like to read this? Anybody dying to read out loud today? What about online? Jamario, Molly, anybody want to read this? I'm not gonna make anybody read. McKinnon? Okay,
So
All right.
it's just the first,
wherever, when you're ready to stop, you can stop.
all right. Exposing children to the words of the classics will do them no more harm than articulate adults do in conversation. Not to be exposed is not to have the chance of learning. If adults always talk down to them, children might never advance beyond baby talk. There's a real deprivation in restricting them to pablum dished up by someone with a prescribed average of how many words a 6-year-old should know. The effect must be to drive the level ever downwards in both in terms of expression and of sentiments.
Well done, thank you. And then we have parenthesis McNeil 226 and parenthesis period. What does this mean?
Citation.
Yeah, this is the author, right? The author's last name and the page number of where it came from, right? So, thank you, very good, Lieutenant. Okay, so here's the original passage, and you're gonna have to look back at it as you look at the student versions, okay? So I'm gonna show you the student versions up here. Feel free to look back at this paragraph to see, is it plagiarized? Is it not plagiarized? Or is it not plagiarized but still wrong? Okay, that's what you're asking yourself. Okay, so let's look. So here's the student version. Exposing children to the words of the classics will do them no more harm than articulate adults do in conversation, period. If adults always talk down to them, children might never advance beyond baby talk, period. So the question, is it or is it not plagiarism? Who wants to answer? Again?
Yeah, it's just paraphrased.
Is it paraphrased?
It's word for word.
It's word for word. Yeah, they didn't even bother to put it in their own words. Yeah, it's word for word. Oops.
It's just like chunks of the paragraph, not the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's copied word for word. There's no quotation marks and there's no citation. Okay, so because they have no quotation, I mean, if they had put quotation marks and the author, it would have been fine, but they didn't. So this is plagiarism. Plagiarism 101, right? Okay, here's the next one. Not exposing children to the works of the classics is not to have the chance of learning. Restricting them to an average of what a child should know would drive the level of expression and sentiments downward. Is it or is it not plagiarism? What do you think? Online folks, you're very much encouraged to answer as well. Okay, why not? So they did change some things, right? Get it?
I mean, I think this is definitely paraphrasing because it's changed a little bit, but also there's no citation, no author.
You're right. They did paraphrase it, so they did change it a little bit. I would say it's pretty close to the original still. So they changed some of the words, but they also did not give any credit to the source. There's no source, it's still plagiarism, just because they changed some of the words. Remember, even if it's paraphrased, it still has to have a source. Thank you, Phil. You're like, wow, that's hard, right? You know, we're learning. That's what this is all about, is learning what is plagiarism and what is not. Exposing children to the words of the classics will do them no more harm that articulate adults do in conversation. If adults always talk down to them, children might never advance beyond baby talk. McNeil 226.
Not plagiarism,
It's not plagiarism, why not?
because they put the McNeil
Okay, so they cited it.
said it, and it's also, written in the original passage.
It's word for word the original passage.
But then where's the quotation mark?
Exactly. They forgot the quotation marks. Darn it, I know, this is what we're learning, right? Yeah. They did include a source, thank you very much, but because it's still the exact same, it's still word for word, except for that, I need to change, that's my mistake. There needs to be quotation marks around it because it is a direct quote, okay? Is this helping, by the way, to see what some examples, yeah, this is, I thought this was really, this is a great idea, I'm gonna turn it into a game. Okay, here we have one, quotation. Exposing children to the words of the classics will do them no more harm that articulate adults do in conversation, ellipses. There is a real deprivation in restricting them to pablum dished up by someone with a prescribed average of how many words a 6-year-old should know, end quote, McNeil 226.
What's the little?
Yeah, the ellipses. So if you put the dots, dot, that in brackets like that, that means that there's more to that, but you don't need it in your essay. So you're acknowledging that more was said, but you didn't use it. Okay. You might see this in like newspapers, magazines, when you are reading an interview, like they added more, or you'll see like a bracket with somebody's name because they said he or she or they, and they didn't say the person's name, and the writer might want you to know whose name it was, who they were referring to. Okay, any ideas? Is it or is it not plagiarism?
It's not plagiarism
Why not, Jamario?
because he has the quotations and the cited information in there.
Yeah, you are correct. Absolutely. Thank you. It is correct. They put quotation marks. They have the author's name and page number. All of it is correct. And then I also explain what the brackets are, in case you are wondering that part of that quotation is missing, but that's okay. Because it is, it just means that there's more to it. Yeah, awesome. Good. Very good. All right, we have another one. Quote, not to expose children to the classics is not to give them the chance of learning. If adults always talk down to them, children would be restricted in terms of expression and sentiments. End quote, McNeil 226. Not plagiarized? Why not?
Because it has quotation marks cited.
It's cited, they have the quotation marks. This is not plagiarized, but it's still wrong. Because they paraphrased. They paraphrased what the author said. They didn't need quotation marks, right? You only need quotation marks when it's word for word exactly what the author said. In this case, they wrote a pretty decent paraphrase, which means it's their words, but the author's idea. So the reason why it's not plagiarized is because they gave credit to the source. It's still wrong because they put quotation marks around not a direct quote. So that wouldn't be considered plagiarism, though. That would just be incorrect grammar in this case. Okay, so that's what I would be like, good try. Like you did a great paraphrase, you don't need quotation marks. Okay. All right, I think this is the last one. Many people believe that since young children might not completely understand the message behind a classic such as Oliver Twist, they should not be read to from those works. The truth is that exposure, quote, to what words of the classics will do them no more harm than articulate adults do in conversation, McNeil 226, end quote. The effect of being deprived from these words is to, quote, drag the level ever downwards, both in terms of expression and of sentiments, end quote, McNeil 226. Is it or is it not plagiarism?
I would say that it isn't. Because it's quoted, citation, all that.
Yeah, they did everything right. What this is, remember when we talked about signal phrases? We talked about, so what they did is they took all of this is their analysis, right? It's their signal phrase, and it's introducing the quote, right? And then same here, this right here is all, it is essentially a paraphrase, right? The effect of being deprived, okay? And then they just did the direct quote here, and then they added the source. Notice where the source is in here twice. Why is the source in here twice?
Because it's two different quotations.
It's two different quotes. They quoted the author in two different places. It's still the author's idea, so they still have to include the source, and that's okay. It's okay to have them multiple times, okay? Okay. All right, now we're going to do an exercise where you work together, okay? Essentially, it's the exact same thing, but then you guys are going to investigate together. So Darian, would you mind coming over here with McKinnon? And Vi, if you want to join them, you may. It's totally up to you, okay? And Jamario and Molly, I'm gonna put you two together. If you look at, I'll come to the passage. If you click on that, I think one of you was in here earlier. If you look at the handout, I'm gonna show you where it is, module 9, week 9, lecture schedule and videos. It's right here, avoiding plagiarism handout. Okay. I'm gonna scroll down to passage. This is exercise 1, original passage, and it starts with Aristotle. This is what we're gonna look at. Okay. I'm gonna read this because the language is very specific. It's not easy, so I will read this one. So here's the original passage. Then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see student versions, and you are going to decide as a team, is it plagiarized? Is it not plagiarized? Is it not plagiarized, but still incorrect? And you need to explain why. I don't think it gave you much room in this. Oh, it did. It does give you some places to write, didn't it? Okay, good. So you are going to decide that. So I'm gonna read this first, and then I'll let you guys work together, okay? So let's read the original passage before I let you go. Okay. Aristotle, 394 to 322 BC, was born in Stagyria on the Macedonian frontier. But at the age of 18, he came to Athens to study under Plato in the academy. When Plato died in 347 BC, Aristotle took up residence first with Hermias, tyrant of Aturnius, and Assos in Mysia, then with Philip, king of Macedon. At the Macedonian court, he tutored the heir to the throne, Alexander, afterward called the Great. He returned to Athens in 334 BC and spent the last 12 years of his life lecturing to a growing number of students and admirers. His adult life then can be separated into 3 easily definable periods: the residence in Athens, 366 to 347 BC, the years of travel, 347 to 334 BC, and the second residence in Athens, 334 to 323 BC. Hill 19. Okay, Hill 19 is your source. for those going to ask me, why did the numbers go in the wrong direction? That's because everything that is BC is, goes downwards until we get to 0080. And now we're in the year of our Lord 2023 AD. So people always ask me, why are you going backwards? That's just the way historians have decided that we're going to record history. And I don't know the Latin terms for BC and AD. I don't know what the meaning. At some point, somebody said it meant before Christ and after death. It doesn't. That's bullshit. It means something in Latin, but I don't know. I can never remember what it is. I always have to Google it. So you're welcome to do that later. All right, so I put you in teams, and Jamario and Molly, I'm gonna go ahead and put you in a breakout group. So you do need to definitely, it looks like one of you has this open. That's perfect. Because you do need to look at now the student versions and decide, is it plagiarized? Is it not plagiarized? Is it not plagiarized but still incorrect? And give reasons why. So please work together to determine those. All right, thank you. And then we'll come back in 5-10 minutes. Are they in breakout groups?
Hold on, I'll make it. Make me restart.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, it's this, you know that, right? It's this. But if you want to find it, I'll go right here. Which is the same process. Okay, so yeah, you guys are gonna decide.
Is it also the?
It's also the, yeah, yeah.
So-
Can they hear me or should I mute myself?
They can't hear you.
Okay.
Better break up.
Good to
Unless you broadcast it to them.
Didn't think so, but. As they talk to each other, that's what I want you to do. I put the original passage up here if that helps. How much time do you guys think you still need? Oh, you're, okay. We'll give them 1 minute. Yeah. Oh, you don't have, I don't know how to, should I just say 1 minute?
Yeah, you can broadcast it and let them know.
Don't be sorry.
Are we done with the groups?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna talk, I mean, you guys don't have to, you can go back to your desk if that's what you're asking, yes. Welcome back, Molly. Welcome back, Molly. Okay. Okay, so the very first one I'm going to ask you to just tell me your decision. Is there a volunteer for the first one? Okay, McKinnon. Is it plagiarized? Is it not plagiarized? Is it plagiarized but still incorrect?
I think it's plagiarized, but still incorrect.
So not plagiarized but still incorrect?
Wait, no, it is.
It is plagiarized?
No. I don't know, I just put down there's quotes, but it's not, but it's paraphrased.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work.
Yeah, so you are, it's considered not plagiarized because they have the source. But it's also incorrect because they have a paraphrase, they paraphrase the information, but they put quotes around it. So it's not a direct quote. So the answer is not plagiarized, but still incorrect. Okay. Did everybody have something similar or any questions about that? Okay. The second one, Jamario, would you mind doing the second one, please?
Yeah. This is the one I'm kind of stuck on, but I'm gonna go with it's. I want to say it's not plagiarized, but it's also not quoted or there's no cited there.
So because there's no citation, it's considered
So
plagiarized.
considered. I guess I'm confused
Yes.
at the beginning. At the age of 60, are those his own words?
So he paraphrased it. He paraphrased it, which was fine, but he didn't add the source. So the information, even though it's it's the student's own words, it's
Okay.
still, it wasn't the student's idea, so still has to be cited. So it's
Gotcha.
considered, thank you, that was a great question. So it's still considered plagiarized, even though it's a good paraphrase. If they had added the source, it would have been perfect. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Darian, can you do the third one? It's just this one, even though the other one's really, it's just this one.
I think we said that, it. That it was,
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It is not plagiarized because you have this information, while it is all paraphrased, and then you have a direct quote and you have Hill 19 at the end, and it covers everything in this paragraph, right? So yeah, it is fine. It is a good one. So this one looks like it went down to the next page. Let me put it all together here for you. I don't understand why the colors are weird. Okay. Molly, are you there? Can you do this one? When Plato died?
I said this one was plagiarized.
Yes, you are correct. Even though that there's a source, why did you say it was plagiarized?
There's no quotations.
Quotations, yeah. You're correct. Yeah, I don't even know if they tried to paraphrase, but yeah, it's almost, yeah, I think they tried when they said like eventually took up residence, but it's way too close to the original. Some of it is word for word the original, so it needs to be in quotation marks, or they need to do a better job of paraphrasing. Yeah, that's considered plagiarized. Okay, this one. Like changing text colors while we're in here. According to Hill, what did you guys say for this one?
plagiarized.
Why?
Was it quoted or, cited?
Well, it's cited right here.
Oh.
And right here.
And quoted.
It's all his own words.
Oh, I think it's his own words, yeah. Life in Athens under Plato's tutoring, years of traveling, yeah, all of that has been paraphrased. So all of this has been paraphrased. And so it would be considered not plagiarized because it's not too close to the original. There's no, no quotation marks are necessary because it's a paraphrase. And you have Hill and the page number. So in this case, they did give the source. And then this right here, this is just, what do you call it? An analysis of the student writer. So that's fine. So this one is considered perfect. I think this one is supposed to, oh wait, no, sorry, that is right where it should be. Okay, so yeah, so the according to Hill one is not plagiarized. Does everybody understand why now? Did I explain that? Okay. Aristotle's adult life, with this very last one, what did you guys say?
Plagiarized.
It's plagiarized, yeah, why?
No author, no setting, no quotes.
Right, there's no quotation marks and there's no source. Yeah, it's directly word for word from the original, so it needs quotes and it needs a source. Yep. So how do you feel after that? Like, do you feel like you understand plagiarism a little bit better? Like how, so when you're going through your essays, right? Look at the plagiarism, look at your passages, especially where you cited information, and double check that you paraphrased well, so it's not too close to the original, and that you included a citation. And if you have a direct quote, make sure there's quotation marks around it and a source.
Source is only when you have direct quotation marks?
Nope, the source is anytime you use their idea. So quotation, summary, paraphrase, you always have the source. So it just, how you present that information is up to you. And I think on next Tuesday, I'm talking about quotes, paraphrase, and summary, how to do that. So, and I'll be talking about making sure you cite there as well. I think I have. Okay. All right, so even though there is another, is there another one? Oh, I think I just took out, I took it out because I finally I never used it. Yeah, this. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and practice this so that since we have some time, I'd like you to look at the horror movies. Okay. Look at it's on page 5, but you can't really tell. Original passage about horror movies. And I would like you to write, in any of this, I'd like you to write a direct quote, okay? A student version of yourself, a direct quote, and one where you're summarizing the information, okay? To avoid plagiarism. How would you do that, okay? And you can write it on the paper, I'm fine with that, or you can write it on a different piece of paper. And then I'd like to know, I'd like you to show it to me. So for Jamario and Molly, you can type yours in the chat. That would be perfect, actually. And then those of you in the room, you can write it, or you can type it on the computer if typing's more your jam. But you're just writing two versions, one in which you use direct quotes and the other in which you summarize the information. And use only some of the author's words to write a paraphrased version. Okay, so just a short, even if it's just one sentence. Okay, but don't forget to avoid the plagiarism part. That's what I'm really looking for. All right, so let's look at the passage, horror movies. It's just above the works cited. Horror movies and horror novels have always been popular, but every 10 or 20 years, they seem to enjoy a cycle of increased popularity and visibility. These periods almost always coincide with periods of fairly serious economic and/or political strain. And the books and films seem to reflect those free-floating anxieties, for want of a better term, which accompany such serious but not mortal dislocations. They have done less well in periods when the American people have been faced with outright examples of horror in their own lives. End quote. King 28. Stephen King wrote that. Okay, so, all right, so I'd like you to, and again, you're just writing, you're writing two examples, one in which you're using a direct quote from what King said, and the other in which you're just paraphrasing what King said, okay? So, you could just do, and really, you don't need to paraphrase the entire paragraph, it could just be one sentence, okay? So if you could please write that, and then, show me when you're finished, please. Any questions about what you need to do? Does it make sense? And bye, if you want to give it a shot, you can. Yeah, if you have room underneath the Aristotle stuff, this, you can write it here if you want. Or on a separate piece of paper, whatever rocks your boat. Oops. Awesome, okay. Well, I just, for those who are watching the recording, I just asked everybody if you guys found that helpful. I hope you did. So the PowerPoints used today can be found here, the plagiarism policy, how to avoid plagiarism, the handouts here as well. Also that link to the library for Shoreline is also here. And the weeknight lecture schedule, I'm not sharing the screen, am I? I apologize. Apologies. I was saying that everything can be found right here, including the link to the library. Okay. Thursday, like I said, we're going to be working on your essay outlines. Okay, so it's going to be a workshop day. Bring your computers. I will help you with your research, and we will get those outlines finished. So same thing with you guys online. We will work on your outlines together. Good day to be here. Oh, I was like, there's 4, but it's me and Anna. Okay. All right, so let me look. So we have about 20 minutes left of class, not even that. So I'm going to say you can use the rest of that time to judiciously get work done. Okay, like I said, you have the persuasive essay assignment here to do, which is to just read it and then answer the questions. You have the wealth gap reading, and then we'll do the outline together on Thursday. And if you're missing any assignments, you can do that. We have until June 16th at, oh, I moved it, by the way. Instead of 9:30 a.m., you have until 11:30 a.m. because I'm in a meeting. And I figured we might as well take advantage of my being stuck in a meeting. So, so I was able to give you a couple of extra hours. So I will start reading after 11:30. which I have another meeting that I don't have to be quite as, don't have to pay attention as much now, but, okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop share and stop the recording. If anybody has any questions, please reach out to me, for those of you who are watching this at home.